All right, I did chapter 21, recreational sport. My name is Danny Medlock, and I did this by myself. So like Marshawn Lynch, I'm about to put the team on my back. The history of recreational sport kind of starts, fairly recent because, we're a young country. It's a direct result of the Industrial Revolution and the urbanization of our country. All these people crammed together in urban centers. They needed a place to get active. So we had the parks movement, like in the 1850s. Central Park was made. This coincided with technology that was coming out at this time. For example, the bicycle, which is still very popular, obviously. We have the wilderness movement that came next. People became obsessed with forests and exploring, in a large part due to the literature of our time. Two presidents were key in this. Ulysses S. Grant established the first national forest in Yellowstone, Wyoming. And then 40 years later, Teddy Roosevelt created the National Park Service, or NPS. After that, we had a lot of recreational stuff come out of religious organizations. The YMCA is obviously a Christian organization, as the YWCA. Adult camping was big at this time, but they realized that children's camps could be a great way to get children involved. And so church groups sponsored summer camps. More history here. As a result of World War II, obviously America became the world power. We developed this booming economy. As a result, we had all these grants and stuff, and we could pursue a lot of different ventures. A lot of those went towards creating national services for our rivers, bike trails, hiking, and other recreational areas. Also, our technology is improving, which made these sports easier to do. Things like kayaking, canoeing. To this day, still the #1 form of recreation is walking, and that is actually on the rise. In 2010, President Obama created the America's Great Outdoor Initiative. He was trying to create jobs and volunteer opportunities, as well as get people back into getting active. As our society has become more content to sit on our couches. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone, creating jobs and volunteering opportunities, as well as promoting an active lifestyle. The industry of recreation is segmented, and a business can fit into more than one of these segments. The first type of recreation is community-based recreation. Community-based recreation is united by common interests, and they're obviously done within a local community. So the examples of these would be YMCA, Boys and Girls Clubs, Jewish centers. They're no longer free to the public. So as a result, recreation managers often look for sponsors. Like, for example, Little League teams, you'd have, like, a lot of Little League teams have, like, the local sub shop sponsoring them to pay for the uniforms and stuff. Second type would be public recreation, and these are done more at a state and federal level. This is when the state and federal agencies manage recreational opportunities on public land. So this would be like our state parks or our state forests. In this field, resource management is critical because you're dependent on all of nature to do these activities. Industry continued. We have military recreation, which is designed for military personnel that take their family to these military bases. Not only are they promoting fitness and military readiness for the military members, they're also providing bowling, skiing, boating, golfing, fitness, all sorts of opportunities for the families, to make their life more normal as they prepare to go to war. The big problem with this is there's a lack of funds. Their budget's gotten smaller as they've had to go to war, and a lot of that war budget has to go towards the actual war. So they're having a difficulty maintaining the quality of these programs because they don't have the same instruction or tools to perform this stuff, and as a result, they're losing money. Next industry format, we have outdoor recreation. This is the biggest one. It's a $730 billion business. 75% out of Americans participate in outdoor recreation. And if you're confused on this one as to how this is different to the other ones, like I said, the segments, they merge together. Highly diverse. You can do anything from biking to snowboarding to kayaking to walking to extreme sports. Next segment in the industry is university outdoor programs. These are programs done on campus to promote people that want to work in this industry. They'll teach you leadership and instructional tasks. Next one's therapeutic recreation. This is if someone, if you broke your leg, you can go through for rehab for that. If you having some sort of trauma, you can go for rehab for that. They also use it for juvenile delinquents to readjust them mentally. So that's just using the parks and stuff to get people out of their environments and try and create positive change. Current issues, the interaction of the public and private sector. The public sector is our government, and they own or manage all of the recreational opportunities that the public needs to use. The public usually provides the jobs and services, like the trainer that helps you out, because that's the public. The government has no control over that. So the problem with this is that these two groups have to interact with each other, and they have to interact with a lot of other side groups. And when you have negotiations between different groups with different agendas, it's hard to for everyone to get what they want. So as a result, people have to not only understand legal principles, they also have to be environmentally and culturally aware. Environmental awareness refers to abiding by the rules that maintains our environment's safety. Because again, without our environment, you can't take advantage of these outdoor recreational activities. And then also cultural awareness is, for example, the book uses, if you want to go camping in Norway, you can on private land. But if you want to go camping in Quebec, you'll get arrested. So you have to know that each culture has a different way of thinking how these rules work. And these are critical to both the public and private sector. For me, I want to be a journalist, and as a journalist, we look for scandal and corruption. So a lot of these organizations are nonprofit, and if you see a nonprofit organization possibly turning a profit at the expense of the general public, you got to report on that. Also, these grants and stuff are based on tax dollars. So again, big thing as a journalist is if you're finding what the government is doing with the tax dollars is not what they're supposed to be doing, that's a huge scandal. Last form is abuse. Environmental abuse, if these guys are saying they're going to protect the environment and they're not. Again, lying, corruption, scandal, big stuff. And then obviously child abuse. I talked about how the YMCA, Boys and Girls Clubs, are affected. Also Girls and Boys Scouts. If you're finding any sort of child abuse, children are the most sacred thing we have in our society, so they're important. Poof.